brute spawning in the top left-hand side. It is Disc.
And spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner in the red, it is Neeb.
When I first heard the Neeb chants, like the I always thought it was so funny, dude. Like, there was lots of people being like, why are they booing him? And it's like, no, dude, they're saying his name.
Yeah, there were so many people that were like, they were all booing him. That's crazy. I was watching one time some VODs back, and I was visiting my mum's over in England, and she thought they were booing them as well. I was like, Mum, no, don't worry. She was like, oh, that's very rude, isn't it, James? I'm like, Mum, it's fine.
And it's like, oh my gosh, my mum's one of them. And it's like, oh, you know, I always, so when I think about you being from the north, I always think of you as a little wildling.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, and the other wildling that's very famous in that show that shall not be named after you know, terribleness is also a redhead.
Oh, okay. Except I'm not getting naked and having sex with Jon Snow, so it's a bit different.
Well, some would say that your missus is rather attractive, as well as Jon Snow, rather attractive. You know what I'm saying? There are many links that can be made here.
This is going a weird way, Ben.
Okay. So they've both opted for like very similar openings so far, as is PvP, you know? Like you go for the 2 gateways. But now things can deviate, but they won't.
No, indeed. And I always like this kind of new style wall, I suppose. It's, you know, where you eventually anticipate like a depth coming along. When the shade comes along, you throw down the pylon instead of having a unit trying to block things. And also for later stages in the game, it makes it a lot easier to be able to transition things like Archons, etc. So that's very nice. I heard the bell. My food's here. But I can't eat it just yet because I'm casting.
Oh, you know, we'll eat together, James, you and I.
Yeah.
After this game's over. By the way, looking at both the players on the cameras, there has been one common theme with Protoss players today when they've been on the webcam, is they don't move a lot. Although I say that and Disc is moving around, shimmying.
Are you saying that Protoss players don't have as much APM? Is that what you're saying right now?
That is not what I said at all, James. Don't jump to such wild conclusions, okay?
Okay, I must admit, I'm impressed by Disc's beard. That's a wildling beard if I ever saw one.
So many, yeah, that is a wildling beard. And who will have seen more wildling beards than a wildling himself north of the wall?
That's right,
I'm
north
straight.
of the wall.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, Neeb's gone.
No source selected. Where is he gone?
I don't know, man. It was he moved a little bit too quickly, and the webcam couldn't keep up.
Yep, brutal.
Alrighty. So Neeb's actually moving out with his, what was it, 2 stalkers. He's got 2 sentries at home, but Disc, he just went straight across the map and is now here on the low ground. Hello, mate.
This has ended up a bit weird. Just some free damage here and there, but thankfully sentries do block that out from being an extra nuisance. But a free shield battery, that ain't half bad. I'll take that.
Yeah, so what did he get? He got a probe, he got a shield battery, and he kind of forced out some energy being used. I mean, doesn't want to outstay his welcome, though. I mean, whew.
Definitely so. You know, at the beginning when we were talking about, you know, things, then I remembered that there is a player in America called Jon Snow, and that entire thing could have taken on an entirely different meaning. But anyway, we are still in the thick of things.
Yeah, I'm so happy that our conversation was during a StarCraft 2 stream where maybe a lot of people probably jumped to think me talking about Jon Snow, as in the player, as opposed to, yeah, that is cool.
Anyway, back to PvP. Sending Hallucinated Phoenix out to try and find himself a little bit of information. Disc is getting himself Blink behind this. I do like me some Blink Stalkers in some PvP.
Me too. And Disc was the first one to get the full scout off, and he was also the first one to actually go into Blink itself as well. So there's no real like super lead or anything like that just yet. The probe counts are very similar between the two. But it's fun. It's always fun to see the different paths that players take to get to a very similar point eventually.
This has been a lot more gentleman's agreement than I like in my PvP as a PvP connoisseur. I'm all for the proxies and things like that, but very calm, very stable. More shield batteries going down here for Neeb to reinforce his front, but blink for him too. Okay.
You know what's very unusual to me, Kalaris, and I didn't think I'd be saying this. So today on EU, we saw proxy hatches, mass void rays, lots of weird shenanigans. We get to NA, and they're the ones doing the sensible stuff.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
Kind of roundabout world we living in. Wildlings allowed computers and microphones? Oh.
I mean, I'll take it. I'm okay with it for now, to be perfectly honest. This is almost as mirrored's going to get here for these two guys right now to try and do something about it. But I do like Neeb's initial pylon out in the middle of the map, just across from the rocks, because I think you can just warp across the rocks, right? If you want to actually do something. I mean, it's a slow warping, of course, but at least you'll be able to keep an eye on them as well in case your opponent gets aggressive and wants to break them down to then be aggressive himself.
Yeah, it looks like Disc is going to be super aggressive, by the way. Like, Neeb's relying on 2 gateways thus far. He is obviously warping in quite a few more, but Disc hasn't gone for a 3rd base. And, I mean, that's a pretty big amount of infrastructure to be making at your 3rd when you're getting super duper Blink Stalker all in by the looks of it.
Yep, I'm going to have to be reinforced. Some Immortals will be very, very useful against this. Realizes the position where they're moving forwards. So going to try and bait out some force fields to start things off his Disc here, and does get quite a few. Doesn't lose too many Stalkers off the back of it, but he's going to have to do that another time before all the force fields are dissipated.
I'm always a bit scared for Protosses when they're doing this kind of stuff, because shield batteries with overcharge can be so good when defending.
Yeah, definitely so. It's added a whole new layer to the defense that is possible on the backside here for Protoss. And unfortunately for Disc, that location where he's trying to push in is technically one of the more vulnerable ones to try and push up against. Any other angle is difficult to breach up that ramp, but maybe you can come in from the right-hand side where you're on the same level.
Oh, he just lost his Warp Prism, which means no more reinforcements, but his Stalkers are in a pretty decent spot to get some damage done.
This is good. Taking the high ground here for a moment. Has to blink on back away from that, but getting an Immortal is a nice pickup there.
Certainly is, and he does have high ground vision again with the Observer here. We just heard it go woo. And will he be going to the main base is the question.
Maybe a cheeky little blink up with a few, but all of them, all 3 actually get abandoned down towards the south. Trying to go up here and actually blinking forwards here aggressively is Neeb to try and shut this down. Will force him out of his base.
Neeb definitely being quite good, quite proactive about stopping all this stuff. Because, I mean, Disc, if you're a worse player than Neeb, holy crap, Neeb's taking a 4th base while kind of getting 2 base.
Yeah, ambitious. Very ambitious. We'll have to cancel that and move on away.
Ooh. Nice bit of pressure there by Neeb. I mean, like Disc, he went for something a bit quirky, right? Like this was a big power play by him, but
yeah.
Neeb too solid to really fall for that. And behind all this, Neeb's been macroing very good. He's got good infrastructure behind all this, getting extra gateways and stuff. And also, the tech of his army going for charge lots now. Whereas Disc, he's going to be looking like he's going for the Disruptor play.
Yeah, and Disruptors against, well, Blink Stalkers are probably one of the better tools against Disruptors, of course, which they're obviously in this Blink Stalker versus Blink Stalker war right now. Wait, how did that just go? Oh, that was, it was Neeb's Scout, sorry. I was not looking at the screen properly. I was like, wait a minute. But anyway, yeah, so Blink versus it is not too bad. But if you can, as Neeb going for the Archons, if you can hit before that Disruptor count is very high, then the Disruptors being in a low number leave that kind of window a la the Swarm Host we were seeing previously, right? And then maybe you can make something happen there.
Ooh, nice. Warp Prism. Yep. Yeah. Neeb, though, look at that speed boost. Didn't we see it in full action there? The Stalkers chasing down the Stalkers of Disc, and even though we got the Warp Prism, that was definitely a decent trade for Neeb.
Not too bad. Moving on through the middle of the map here. Maybe Neeb wants to get aggressive, or he's just going to bring down those rocks, allow the reinforcements to come through. Still got to wait for his Warp Prism before he actually wants to get truly aggressive. Does he know that it's Disruptors on the way on the other side yet?
I'm not sure. Like, I don't remember too many Hallucinated Phoenix moving out, but Neeb's army, he's got a 30 supply advantage. But that supply can, you know, disappear very quickly when disruptors are on the map.
Blink Stalkers can buy some time while this is going on, and you're seeing, you know, small move outs to try and stop it from actually going on. But blinking back the entire Stalker army means that now it's going to be up for the disruptors to buy a little bit of time for a while. Sends one Purification over out. Gets the sentry. Poor guy left behind.
I was about to say that sentry was like, oh no, I don't have blink. Why me?
If only they did, it would be absolutely useless, apart from saving it. But another Purification Nova goes out. Can't really get much done with that one. And Neeb realizes kind of the window is closed for a little bit here with the amount of disruptors that are out and about.
Wait, James, you think sentries with blink would be useless?
Yeah.
Can't you imagine the blink and then the force fields to block off your army from retreating and stuff? That'd be sick.
Actually, yeah, that's kind of cool, I must admit. And also kind of cool. Another, almost clips that Archon with that Purification Nova. Can he actually get that if he actually just targets them, blinks back? But it might cost him a few Stalkers now, thanks to the fact that it's up on the high ground. Nope, not going to get it.
It's funny the back and forth here. Like, even though Neeb's quite a bit ahead in supply, the power of Disc's army, if these disruptors do land, is really scary. But one thing that Disc has to be worried about with Neeb is, yes, a flank is getting ready here, and I think this is very nice position by Neeb.
Oh! He tried to block him in with the initial blink forwards with a few of the Stalkers. It was a really cool idea, a cool play. It doesn't quite get the disruptors that he wants off the back of it, though. Zealot's trying to chase this down on top of those disruptors right now. The Stalkers have to blink away. That leaves the disruptors vulnerable on the right-hand side as those Zealots are going to chase them down. And if he uses a Purification over on that, great moves with those Archons at the front here, trying to avoid those. It's only Stalkers going up against Archons, Immortals, as well as these Stalkers. And he's going to have to run away. He lost all of his disruptors.
That's a lot of his firepower gone. And I was just looking at the production tab for a moment there. I think Neeb was producing 3 disruptors at a time at one point. So, yeah, I think a turn of the tides is in order. And first Purification Nova coming out from Neeb.
Maybe. Now, one of the interesting thing about disruptors for me is that whilst, as we move up here on towards the high ground, tries to focus down the disruptor, gets one. Another Purification Nova comes out. Actually, it has to blink away, but loses some in the process. One thing that's cool about it, Ben, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that, yes, disruptors can be very vulnerable to flanks, but they themselves can actually benefit from flanks sometimes if you are unsuspectingly coming from a different angle with disruptors.
Oh, certainly. Like the good old flanking disruptor that we've seen here and there, you know. It's a very volatile move because it can look absolutely brilliant. Like, why doesn't everybody do this? But also, when you're against Mass Blink Stalker, and it's like, yeah, I'm firing my Nova at you, and then it's like, blink, dead. Oh, yeah, let's not do that anymore.
Yeah, can be risky for sure. But as you can see here, Neeb is setting up for what could probably be harassed, but also that is massive. Woo! Is the potential if the army was to move into a bad position, it's going to end up recalling and has to move away now. This could have been the flank setup for a mid-map fight. So moving away though, a bit vulnerable.
So Disc just lost like 50 supply in the... Oh my gosh.
He's losing all his disruptors as well, and that's going to be the charge lots charging on towards this Stalker army, and they are vulnerable. There is only one more disruptor actually reinforcing this. There may be another one coming from a robo facility, but this could be big damage. He gets the disruptor before the Purification Nova goes off as well there, as he's trying to blink back where he can, but he's going to take huge damage.
That was like an action movie. The probes were just in between all the explosions.
GG.
Neeb looked really good that game, man. He actually looked really good.
Yeah, definitely so. Very, very well executed. For the most part, there were 1 or 2 moments where he lost disruptors over by his fault, which could have been a little smoother. But other than that, like, dealing with Purification Novas can be treacherous, but he was able to do it very well.
Yeah, like, Disc went for a bit of a ballsy play there with like the 2 base attack kind of thing. And I liked the idea of it a lot. I think it was cool. It was decently executed. But Neeb, like, was very prepared for all of it. And I think Neeb was, again, patient, just smooth, just waited for the shield batteries to be done. And then he just got himself into, like, he never took a super bad fight, right? Even though he was against a very awkward army. The flank was a really nice idea. I love the Stalker blinking to try and block the army as well. But yeah, Neeb, I do think he just looked very clean that game overall.
Gotta agree. Ben, do you know how good it feels to commentate right now? I'm getting like years of frustration out right now, which, I mean, I'm not being as loud as I want to be, because technically I have neighbors, but you know, I'm doing what I can, and I'm really, really enjoying myself. I'm not gonna lie.
For those that don't know, James is, you know, hosting events here, there, and everywhere. And very often when he's with his boys at the desk, he's like, I want to cast a game. Can I cast a game, guys? It's like, yeah, James, come on, get in. Like, you can cast this. He's like, oh no, they won't like me. They won't. And it's like, James, of course they'll like you.
They don't remember me. I'm.
They remember you having the long hair and all.
Yeah, they remember that bad bit. That was. I mean, to be fair, like if it was up to me and I wasn't on camera, I'd probably do the long hair thing again. Are we leaving this lobby? We might be leaving this lobby. I'm not sure.
Would you? Would you though?
Well, I like having long hair. It's just a pain in the arse to manage. I mean, I can see that you are an aficionado of long hair as well.
You know, this is not the first time that somebody has, you know, talked to me one-on-one about their hair troubles.
Really?
In fact, I've got a really stupid ass story. Like,
is it Rotty you've involved?
Rotty was sat there, and
okay.
So I think Fia will hate me bringing this up, but the young German Fia. So, like, this was Home Story Cup. We're sat there, we're having some drinks and having a nice time, and then Fia just turns to me. He's like, Ben, why do girls just like stroking your hair? You know, like why do they do it? And I'm like, Rotty just cracks up laughing, and he's like, you say this to the only bald guy in the room? Like, what's wrong with you? And then Fia was like,
drunk at the time?
No, he was sober, so sober. And it was just like, oh, so yes. This is not the first time that this has happened to me, being in this position.
That's fantastic. Was this in a Home Story Cup or something? Was this in Dake's place?
Oh yes.
Of course it was. That place is weird sometimes.
And beautiful.
Yeah. I'll go with that.
Okay, so what's the second map of this series? As Roddy says, Eternal Palace it is.
You're never going to end with that, are you? Like...
You know, this is kind of like the old Artosis pylon. Somebody trying to, you know, sing it on to somebody else.
I get you. It's a smart strat. It sticks, actually. It does, you know, stick.
If I say it enough on a broadcast with this many people will start to believe me. If I say it enough.
Especially if you're saying it with confidence. I find that that's the key to hosting. I can say, like, when I'm hosting, I can say whatever I want, and people don't care. Like, as long as you say it confidently. I've said song lyrics going into games as a transition. Nobody gives a damn.
People just like it. They like whatever you say, as long as you say it with confidence, James.
Yeah.
And speaking of confidence, going into game 2 here with a 1-0 lead, it is Ting's Neeb.
And spawning down the bottom left. In the red, it is Disc.
Are you playing Caster Chicken with me, James?
Oh, I'll win. I'll never talk.
I have the so I don't have the intro music on currently.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep everything quiet here because, you know, it's very late here in Sweden. But yes, I didn't know when it stopped and when either of us is meant to talk. So it was very much like, oh my gosh, is this happening right now? I'm gonna lose.
No, you know, if I want to be loud, I'm gonna be loud. All right, I don't care what time it is. I mean, maybe my neighbors do care, but it's fine. Actually, the walls are pretty thick here, so it's all right. Yeah, I'm all good. I guess you've got other people in your apartment your house to cater towards.
Yes. Yeah. Like so. My lady just started a new job, you know, so she had to bed very early, and here's me shoutcasting in the next room. Isn't this such a good combo?
I have a weird question, and you don't have to ask it you don't have to answer it if you don't want to, because it's kind of personal. Have you thought about names?
Yes.
Have you?
Yes.
Where are we at?
Galaris.
No, that's not true.
you know, we don't know the gender yet, so no clue whatsoever. This game is already quite different, by the way. Getting on to because we're casting a tournament here, James.
Okay, all right, go on then. Oh, proxy. Oh, I'm so happy already. Yeah, because basically this is kind of what I expected a bit more from PvP. I'm happy with that. So Stargate on the way for cheeky Neeb. And you know, Neeb, this is when I feel like Neeb became the full package Neeb. Not when he was, because for a long time he was doing his, macros, and then we would never really see some cheese from Neeb. But then eventually he started mixing some stuff in, and that's when he became real dangerous.
Yeah, I kind of agree, actually. I think very similarly about Serral, because, you know, we've had really damn good players in the past. Like, I'll say like the Snoops of the world, the Stefanos, but they were very linear in the sense that everybody knew how they played. Whereas now you see these players that mix it up a lot. Like, you have to mix it up a lot to be really, really damn good.
And it's a reverse Naniwa, actually. If you think about Naniwa's start in StarCraft 2, and then when he became big in StarCraft 2, he was starting kind of cheesy, cheesy. And then he would eventually like round out his game with a lot of strong macro games. So being the full package really means a lot in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, and there's definitely a few players right now with that full package appeal to them. Oh, is this going to be... Okay, there's Adepts in the main. No, there isn't. They're at the natural.
Yeah, they didn't shade. The Oracle actually checking out everything as it does go down. Shade goes on into the main once again. No, pylon blocked. Nicely done. So we'll make sure it's not getting him.
More Adepts for Neeb, by the way. So he's up to, what is this? 2 Oracles, and it's going to be 6 Adepts. This is like, he's hoping to deal damage here, and I'm wondering, is he hoping to shade to the top of the ramp and then quickly kill the shield battery with like enough Adepts and stuff?
Well, the thing is that if you shade and your units aren't split, thankfully Disc is, like, you're blocking your own ramp with a pylon, right? So Oracles could have tried to get into the mineral line, hoping that all of the units were on another side, which would be kind of cool, but it's not to be. He gets pushed away, even though he lost 4 probes there.
Yeah, he did. It was mainly to the Oracles. Oh, these ones are in the main base, seeing that the Stalkers were kind of out of position. And this is nice micro by Neeb, by the way, just kind of like Dro or probe drilling, or rather Disc. But oh my gosh, still getting probe kills while being kind of next to a shield battery. That was a cheeky Adept.
Yeah, and I do love double Oracle as opposed to a single Oracle. One Oracle, you've got your micro limitations are a bit more severe, right, compared to 2 Oracles, which can easily dart in, get that double volley off, get a probe, and then get out in just a moment's time. So very, very nice little harassment here by Neeb so far.
Neeb's playing really good, man. Like I said it in the first game, he was clean, and this game he's just making his opponent struggle a lot. And one thing that I'm also really liking about his Adept usage, he wasn't using all 5... Oh, whoa, he actually went full on that sentry, gets it, now gets a bunch of probes as well.
Oh my, that is big. And 41 workers to 28 right now. Even if he does lose these Oracles, it's still going to be a significant amount done with them. So very, very well done. Blink into blink for both of these guys.
Yeah, the one thing I wanted to point out with Adepts, so he had like 5 Adepts alive. He was using like 3 shades at one time, and then the 2 shades from the other, making it so you had to keep rebuilding that shield battery at the top of the ramp, just making Disc work 10 times harder to deflect these Adepts. So something a little bit different from me, but also just very well done.
Yeah, what a pain to deal with. So, and that's what a lot of StarCraft does come down to sometimes. It's just forcing your opponent to constantly have to be active and constantly making them be the one that has to make the mistakes effectively, which is kind of what Neeb is very, very good at, especially in his home region, where, you know, when he's not on the international stage and not having to compete with the best of the best from every other region, North America has a hard time keeping up with someone like Neeb, for example. So doing well. Oh, nice run forward though. Could get some kills here, and will get a sentry or 2 too.
Sentry down, 2 sentries, I think, and then a Stalker as well. So there was definitely a window for Disc to deal damage, and he's utilizing it and doing it very well, cancelling the 3rd, actually.
He's making a pylon to slow warp it. I guess he's going aggressive here off the back of this, but that's, yeah.
Oh, that was fancy.
Nice.
You know, we saw the little blur there. And Neeb, does he not? He does. Oh, okay. Blink has finished for him. That makes life a bit easier dealing with this. But Disc, wow, this is real all-in by Disc.
Yeah, definitely so. That's going to take a long time to actually get in here. Blink versus Blink at the moment, and I think Neeb is probably going to win out that for the moment, but the slow warp-ins will be enough in time to try and buy the time here. And no extra force field. This could be decent.
It could be. Battery overcharge is used, so Disc does the right thing there and disengages entirely. Oh, slow warp-ins right in the face of Neeb. That was ballsy.
He wasn't expecting those Stalkers to come up the ramp as well there, so they actually got an extra volley off as he was expecting all the Stalkers to be coming from that left-hand side as opposed from the south. And we're going to have to blink on back. Oh, a big chunk of Stalkers that could blink back there. Some of them aren't going to have it on cooldown here to be able to micro out, and Neeb will win out that for the moment there.
Neeb behind all this too, even though he's making a ton of Stalkers to counter Discs. He's also getting Immortals, and he's still fighting with a little bit of shield battery juice doing well. Disc is microing his heart out here, but so many of his Stalkers are red, and Neeb, it looks like he is holding with a far superior economy, 52 pros to 36.
That, and he has +1 weapons over no +1 weapons for Disc too. So every single trade he's taking right now, yes, the shield batteries are going up here for Disc, but these Stalkers are just more powerful on the side of Neeb relative to him. Oh, and actually denying some economy. That's great.
Neeb is, he's playing a flawless game here, man. Like, he's making a lot of the right moves, and now he feels he's got just enough. Oh my god, the slow warp-ins again. He can focus those down one by one. He doesn't even need to do it right now, and he does it anyway. GG, Neeb.